All right, that was fun. So our big rock topic today is annual planning. It's usually not everyone's favorite thing, right? It's kind of a chore. It's getting everyone in the room and saying, what are we going to do, right? But hopefully I can give you guys some ideas for how to make this less painful, how to get through it and get what you need out of it, because there are some very specific goals. It's not the most glamorous or exciting, but here's the point. Solid planning will make the rest of your year executing the plan much easier. You don't do things as much by the seat of your pants. And as you go through the year, I found this, I had this happen yesterday, or Tuesday. Our overnighter is booked by somebody else, so we got to adjust. It's okay to adjust and be flexible, but we had a plan, and now we're going to just figure out what else fits. Take the opportunity also before you do this to step back, both individually and as a group, and reflect and say what went well, what did we enjoy, what didn't go well, right? What events or activities just aren't working for us, or what do we want to do? And we'll talk about doing a brainstorming session as part of this too. So there are 3 primary goals for any annual planning conference or meeting, whatever you want to call it. First and foremost is a calendar of events. 12 months, in my opinion, is bare minimum. 18 months is ideal. I have a really hard time getting my unit leaders to think out beyond 13 months, planning the summer beyond the summer that hasn't happened yet, right? Calendar, bare minimum. Second thing, budget. Everybody has a budget for their pack, right? Everybody has a budget of some kind. There should be a budget. It's, again, not everyone's favorite thing, but it's very helpful. And I got some examples and some things that we can discuss in terms of how to make this happen better. Third thing is leadership plan. This is especially true for community-based units. We have people come and go on a regular basis. We have people shift jobs. Knowing who's going to do what, or at least have a vision for the following year is essential. And also to start thinking about our succession plan. National Council indicates that PAC annual planning should be done in the summer. And that's primarily based on, again, community-based units that kind of tend to shut down between the end of the school year and then the beginning of the next one. And I've heard a lot of times, I had a great conversation with somebody at University of Scouting that was, there should be no shutdown. And I kind of agreed. I know a lot of LDS units just run year-round, especially the Bebelows dens, because there's a lot to do. But a lot of us on the community side have a tendency to back off in the summer. In my experience, and granted it's a little bit limited in this realm, my experience waiting to summer to do annual planning is too late. I like to do mine in April, the end to middle of April. And the reason is, there's a couple of reasons. One is, as a community unit leader, I do spring recruitment, and I can go to spring recruitment and have a calendar ready and say, here, look, here's 12, what we're going to be doing for the next year. Join us, and that's a powerful tool. We also go into the summer knowing already what's going to happen in September, October, and November. So that's my pitch, is think about April, maybe May. March is tough because you want to have more information that might not be available yet. So my target April. If it doesn't work for you, if you're back, you're used to doing it in July, August, there's nothing wrong with that. Just my recommendation. In theory, this activity should be sort of a joint thing between the Cub Master and the committee chair. Having everybody on the committee side, your treasurer, your advancement person, whoever's on your committee working in the background, as well as your Cub Masters and your den leaders, come in together to say, these are the things we want to do this year. In reality, usually one person spearheads it and drags everyone else along for the ride. It's kind of the way it goes. No, this doesn't need to be a formal meeting. My predecessor as Cub Scout Roundtable Commissioner, Joe Parks, literally got his half dozen other PAC volunteers together at McMiniman's over a burger or two for an hour and a half and said, okay, what are we going to do next year? And was very casual about it. That's okay. I take my people to a meeting space, where a whiteboard and computers and internet, and we go to town. Whatever works for you, right? And anywhere in between. You want to be formal about it? You want to be informal about it? You want to do it at your house? Whatever. Yes, Ann.
How soon do we find out the themes for like next year?
They're already posted. They are on, and I can actually point you to where they're at if you would like to know.
Because I'm sure the leader.
If you go to the Scouting website,
Yeah.
and then you go up to the top bar area where it says I'm a
Yeah, Cub, Boy Scout.
Boy Scout
right?
volunteer, want to volunteer, go into, I'm looking at it, you can see it.
You've done this a few times.
I've done this a few times. I do it every month.
Yeah.
That's how far ahead I think.
Okay. It's buried in there in terms of
It's
resources
it's
for
under
pack
Cub
leaders.
Scouts,
Yeah.
leaders, Cub Scout leaders, Cub Master.
Yeah.
something
Resources.
Like, Cub Master resources.
The easier way to do that, just in case you're not curious, go and Google Cub Scout 2015, 2016 themes, and it'll point you straight to it. And so 15, 16 is there, and 16, 17. It's just all on a list.
Bookmark.
Yeah, but there's a bookmark. Yeah, go ahead.
So our commissioner, she is a little, I don't know, CCD or something. Anyway, she admits she is. So
Okay.
she made a chart and it had all the things, and then it shows what the wolves can do, what the bears can do, what the eagles can do to fill that theme out for each month.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
then she also made a chart just this last week, in case she didn't have any time to spare time on her hands. And it shows all the Wolf Scout activities by time. So sometimes you hear like, oh, I don't want to do Scout activities, it takes too long. So she has like, all these things can be done
Wow.
in 30 minutes or less.
Oh, my God.
All these things have an hour or less. And also they're, not only that, but they're asked if they have to be done in the den or
Or
if
the
they have to be
pack.
only done by the pack. So she's
Wow.
got that for every little requirement in the wolves.
That's
Have
some
only-
valuable analysis.
So, yes. And so, anyway,
That's
I
good
thought
stuff.
I'd give you a copy, and if you want to,
If you've got a copy, I wouldn't mind
It's
it.
pretty amazing, and we thought we'd give it out to the boys' parents, because then if they say I have like a Saturday afternoon, they got a little bit of time, they don't have to feel
What
like they
can
have to
I
spend
do?
hours, they can go, okay, this will take 30 minutes, let's identify different parts of the coin, identify mint marks, play
Okay.
the coin game, make a coin of it, and you can all do, like,
So did she do this for each rank? Wolf, bear, and eagle?
she's only gotten to the wolves so far,
But
but next month I'm sure we'll have the bears. And so, when she can't sleep or something, she does.
Send me your email address. I want to talk to this person. This is
It's
great.
pretty amazing. So there's 30-minute things, and yeah, and it's all
Wow.
aspects. So by, if you have to denounce the activity must be done in the den, activity must be done at home.
Yeah,
She makes sure that they have to be done at home, because
Right.
some things have to be done at home.
Yeah, there are a few.
So they can look at those and
Okay,
see.
very
Anyway,
cool.
I have not checked it over to see if it's right
To
or
do
not
an
yet.
audit,
But
to make
it's,
sure the data's
it's pretty
correct.
amazing, and this
Yeah.
is sort of handy because when you come to like pack meetings or something, you know what each, the wolves and
Yeah.
bears and weebles were all doing that month.
Okay,
And we made some changes to it, like before she published it,
yeah,
we could go back and say, okay, we'd already finished all our Call of the Wild stuff, so we were gonna do it next summer, so we chose Air of the Wolf this year, and Spirit of the Waters to do.
right, okay. And that's a good point, that National recommends the points of the Scout Law, one for each month, and they're swizzled, they're shuffled for next year, by the way. They shuffle them up.
That makes it really hard for the LDS units, because
Right,
if it
because
stays
you
sort of the
pick,
same, then we can, like when
Yeah.
it comes in December, I have to make sure that I have all the things done by the next December, but
Yep.
if they switch the order, then he might not technically get one of the
well,
ones
and,
that I-
and, for me, if I were in your position, I would say, theme, take it or leave it.
Exactly. So we
Right,
sort
if
of
it works, it
do
works.
that because-
And a great example of that is, we always had, for when we were doing the 12 core values of the Scout, 12 core values of Cub Scouting, my Cub Master loved having compassion in November, because that rolled right into scouting for food. You could talk about being compassionate and getting food, gathering food for people, and that following right after the pack meeting. Somehow, multiple years in a row, we had an archery event in November. So there were all these jokes about compassionate archery and the swift kill straight to the heart. I mean, all this stuff. And it was just, and these things happen. You play with it, you do the best you can. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I don't know, but I just had, so to throw something out there about the annual planning meeting.
Please.
So typically, we found really successful with our pack is that we would schedule it in June, and we would invite a Boy Scout troop to come and take all of our boys to play games while we did our pack planning. And so what we did is we just did like something simple, hot dogs. And so everyone would come, have a hot dog, everyone could bring a little side salad or something, keep it real simple, and then the Boy Scouts take the Cub Scouts out, go play games out in the parking lot, and then we're in there doing the planning before the school year's over and everyone's gone.
Nice.
And so we're planning ahead then for the fall, and if you know what, we didn't have someone who wanted to lead the activity, we just say, okay, well this could happen if anyone steps up and wants to lead it.
Right. That's neat to leverage something and get that free childcare in there. And that's something that I struggle with is I try to, we haven't figured out how to bring in adults that have, I've got families with 3 or 4 youth between Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, and I get one of the 2 parents, right? And that's kind of a challenge. So that's a neat idea, I like that.
Yeah, so it works out really good because you've got boys that might want to be at dinner, and then you've got usually a couple of Boy Scout leaders that can come along.
Maybe a den
and
chief
or
whatever,
it builds that
Camaraderie.
liaison too, and it's great if you can invite maybe 2 different Boy Scout troops to kind of work together, so then that way it's not just maybe all one.
To battle it out for
you
your
know,
Cub Scouts.
Whatever each pack has set up. I mean, we happen to meet where a troop met, so I mean, we just asked
You
that.
have that built-in connection, yeah.
But if you don't have that connection, and we would do it at the family camp out, we would do the same thing. My husband was Cub Master, and so he would call up 4 or 5 different Boy Scouts and say, okay, who wants to be a den chief on this camp out for us and help guide activities?
Who wants to teach the knots, or who wants to take the boys on a hike?
And then our pack would pay for them to come.
Okay.
And cover their food costs and everything. And then he had all these stations set up, and it worked out really, really well.
Very nice, yeah, very
so
cool.
I just wanted to share that.
I was just, you missed my bit about how I like to do mine in late April. And that's so that I'm ready, because as a community guy, I do spring recruitment in May. And I can have my calendar ready. But June's not bad either. And it's an excellent point that people vanish after school's out. And if you do it in July, you might get a low hit rate for your leaders. They might be off in Florida or Hawaii, whatever. Make it a destination planning trip, I don't know. Thank you very much, I appreciate the input. Some things that you're going to need. First and foremost, assign somebody to take notes if you can. I found this to be really useful because you get a group of people in a room and you start throwing ideas around, and if nobody's recording them, a week later you're going to not remember any of it. And so that's my first thought is, if you have a pack secretary, if you have somebody who's good at taking notes, have somebody whose function is to record the decisions, the thoughts, that kind of stuff. Not to say that they can't participate, but to be that recorder. A generic calendar. April 12th, is that a Friday or a Tuesday? Timeanddate.com is fantastic. I love it. You can make a calendar a whole 12 months long on one sheet of paper that starts in June or July or January or February, whatever your calendar year is. Ours starts in July, and we wrap around back to, actually ours starts in June, whatever. You can basically slice it and dice it any way you want. If you have scouts, and we all have scouts from local schools, whether you're a public school or private, if you pull stuff from one particular school in particular, make sure you have the school district's calendar, make sure you have the school's calendar. My pack has about a quarter of our scouts are from one particular private school. I make sure I know what that private school is doing, when their start dates are, when their holiday dates are, when school's out, stuff like that. Community calendar, list of events, a great example. This is Beaverton. We like to do the Beaverton Parade. What day is that? I don't know. Have they scheduled that yet? Make sure you pull in those community days. What about the tree lighting down at the Round? If you want to be involved in these things, make sure you know when the dates are. District and council calendars. Make sure you know when Camporee is if you're going to send some scouts out, whether it be just for the day or if they're invited by the troop to stay overnight. Weebelow's Woods, scouting for food. These are fairly regular. By the way, there's a bit of a kerfuffle right now of when Weebelow's Woods is going to be later this year. Keep your ears open. It might shift a little bit. It's still going to be October, but it's which weekend is it going to be? Most importantly, make sure you ask your scouters to come with ideas. Maybe even ask the scouts. What do you want to do? Did you enjoy going to the zoo last year? Do you want to go do something else?
On that, at the last pack meeting of the school year for us, I handed a piece of paper and a pencil to every scout, I said, list your top 3 things, and we did
Yeah.
in order. And I have printed out a piece of paper that lists all the PAC activities.
Nice.
And then I assign points to it, and we total it. And at the planning meeting, I
You
say,
analyze it.
you know, like, wow, we went bowling one year, and the adults were like, bowling was miserable. We hated that.
But the scouts loved it, right?
Like the top thing. Every scout loved bowling because it was logistically difficult for the parents, but the kids had a great time. So we went bowling again.
A great example of that is we do a car wash as one of our fundraisers in the spring. Our kids love that. Why they get so excited about washing other people's cars for half a day, I don't know. And you just never know until you actually ask them, right? So great idea, great example. I like to bring paper and pen and pencils for my people if they want to take notes and they forget. Spiral notebooks are cheap at the dollar store, by the way. Internet access, if you want to look up, I've had a lot of this happen. Okay, Newport Aquarium, that sounded good. How much does that cost again? Look it up. What's the age restriction? Having those quick and simple answers to information at your fingertips is handy. When I was a Boy Scout, we used to go out into, a cabin in the woods literally one time, and you had whatever you brought with you. Today, we have a lot of other information available at our fingertips. Don't let that slip through. Open minds is important. I always ask my adult leaders to come and leave their preconceptions, their negative emotions at the door. Check the baggage. We'll talk about that in terms of brainstorming in a second too. If you have a treasurer, propose a budget. If you don't have a budget, propose a budget. We'll have some analysis things too in just a second. And along with that leadership thing, what do you need in terms of leadership? Do you have all your delegates? Yeah, Chris.
Also, if we have regular things that your PAC does every year at a certain day,
Yeah.
that should be on.
Like Pat Pinewood Derby,
Blue and gold.
Blue and gold. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And that comes down to, what did we do last year? What worked well? And some of those things, Regatta Regatta is one of those things that some PACs do, some don't. Maybe it worked well. How can we do it better? Yeah, absolutely. Those regular things we do. Summer camp, right? So, create a program in your calendar. Collect those important dates. Things like, great example for me. What day is Easter? Last year we accidentally planned an overnighter. It was the Newport Aquarium that eventually changed on Easter Sunday. A week later, I'm scratching my head going, why are we? No, we just goofed. We weren't thinking about it, all those things. When are the district events? When is We Below the Woods? When are the holidays? When are the schools out? Put that out there. Gather all that together. And then again,
When does football season start?
yeah, exactly. When
When is
is March Madness? I mean, we have to pull these things together, right? It's true, yeah.
Because then they're all practices.
It's true. Reflect on what your PAC did last year. We just talked about that. What did you like? What did you not like? Get feedback from your scouts, and then do a brainstorming activity. I didn't do this as much this past year with my PAC, but 2 years ago, I just let fly. I said 20 minutes, no judgment. It works well. We'll talk about that a little bit more in just a second. Look up those monthly themes if you want to use them. You can assign them yourself if you want. You don't have to go with what BSA National says, although when you come to Roundtable and I say, hey, next month is friendly, you'll be like, yeah, but ours is brave, so take it for what it's worth. Get all those things on your calendar. And then, and I think Susan just talked about this, assign leadership for each one. Assign a blue and gold chair for the blue and gold banquet. Assign somebody to make reservations for summer camp. And that's kind of hard sometimes, especially when you're doing this in June or April or May, and you're talking about 11 months out. Do your best to find somebody to say, yeah, I'll take care of scouting for food this year. And then review when you're done. Take a step back and ask yourself, does it make sense? Do we have a lot of stuff clumped here in January and nothing in November? You want to have a fairly evenly spread out cadence, yeah?
So when you're doing all these extra activities,
Yeah.
are you not doing dead meetings those weeks?
Most of the stuff that we do, that I'm talking about, the really fancy extra stuff, archery, scouting for food is a good example, mostly Saturday. And, or like we take our scouts to Stoneworks, which is a climbing gym. And since they're a professional, it's okay. We do that on a Saturday. Or archery, archer's a
Does
field.
that mean you don't need as a den that week, or?
No,
Your
we
boys
fold
meet
that in.
times?
Yeah,
It's a pack activity.
Yeah, it's a pack activity.
So when you're talking to your parents, you say, well, here's the time commitment for your boy.
Right.
An hour a week
Yep.
for 3 weeks. And then you have your
Pack
pack meeting,
meeting.
which is maybe an hour. Hour is ideal, hour and a half is usually how long they go.
Yep.
For the entire pack meeting.
Yep.
And then so we're talking 4.5 hours a week
Yep. Per month.
per month, not per week, per month, and then one Saturday.
And for us, the Saturday is optional.
Yeah.
If we're going on a hike, Tryon Creek's a great example. We did Tryon Creek in June. We had a lot of fun. We had about half the pack come. Those that did got a patch. Some of them actually had crossed off some advancement. You know, wolves, bears, and webelos have hiking to do. So there's that element. But if we're doing just something for fun, bowling, it's just bowling. If you want to come, come. If not, no big deal, right? And there are other things like for us on the community side, we have to go camping, most of us. So we have to, and there's a whole thing in my pack about that right now, but you know, you're going to set a camping date and you're going to say, hey, you swath of Cub Scouts need to go camping, you know, that sort of thing. So some of these you have to make sure your families know tie into advancement. And some of them are just fun, like bowling, yeah.
So on that regards for the LDS units, because we don't do overnight camping,
Right.
there's almost always a father-son outing that is a church activity. And so if you know when that's coming up in advance, you can plan your den activities around that and just remind the parents that the stuff that has to be done in an overnight camp out should be done there.
We're gonna do, or you could just have a big day outing somewhere, go to a shampooey or whatever, and do all those things like a campfire, and then you just go home at the end of the night, right? That's another
exactly what we
alternative.
did
So,
last
and that's great. But again, planning out what day are we gonna do that? A Saturday? Let's make sure everyone's gonna be here, so it's not gonna be the 4th of July, right? Or Memorial Day, or Labor Day, or whatever. Those are good things to keep in mind. Okay. I love to, and I've just mentioned this a couple times, I love to let my people just throw pasta at the wall and see what sticks. Consider spending some time, make sure it's defined. Say, okay, we got 15 minutes, start a timer, go. Whiteboards are great for this. I've got a picture of one in just a second for you guys. Outings, events, fundraisers, service projects, whatever. Everything from bowling to maybe we should go to Camp Clark and send all of our older scouts to Camp Clark. Who knows? Whatever comes up. And I didn't make any judgments at first. We had examples of going horseback riding or, you know, shotgun shooting, and I held my tongue until we got to the end, and then we started to go through and say, Guide to Safe Scouting says no. Guide to Safe Scouting says no. You know, and then you start culling those things out, right? And that's where you categorize and you say, okay, what works, what doesn't. And then for me, I prioritize. And I ask, okay, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to go fishing, a fishing derby? Lukewarm. Okay, we'll put that down in the middle. You know, well, we want to go on a hike for sure, right? So that's kind of how we end up doing this. This is it didn't turn out too well. Photo of a whiteboard at my office that we did. This was about 1.5 years ago. And some of the ideas we came up with that were great. We did geocaching. You look at some of the stuff like Forchie Trail. And this is how we kind of organized and said, you know, what do we really like? Do we want to go fishing? Do we want to do an overnight at OMSI? There's zoo. You know, what about a model train club? There are some model train clubs that meet over at, I think it's the Dairy over in Portland, Alpen Rose. That would be fun. But wait, there's a real train museum down by OMSI. You guys aware of this? The Oregon Heritage Rail?
I know, that's right.
It was fun. Kids love that. Tree planting over here. Just ideas. And then go forward and say, okay, let's start to, and then den leaders, this is important. You're going to want to come with the things that you know, especially, you know, if you're LDS and you know you're going to be a wolf den leader next year, you already know what you need to do. You need to do a hike, you need to do a service project maybe, and advocate for those things as a pack, especially if it says do it with a pack, right? And make sure those get on the list. And say, hey, we need to do these things. And everyone needs to do some of these things. Going on a hike's a great example. The only rank that doesn't need to go on a hike is Webelos. No, sorry, Arrow of Light. So let's do a big pack hike, maybe 2 of them. Once you have those ideas, start prioritizing, eliminating if they're inappropriate. Focus on this is something that I found a lot, focus on the largest appeal specifically for your scouts. We had a fishing thing and hardly anybody showed up because only a couple families really were into fishing. Everybody's group is different, so maybe fishing is really big in your group. But we realized, okay, our scouts aren't into fishing.
We did it, and we didn't invite families, we just had the boys, and every boy caught 3 fish and they loved it, like.
Okay.
We have a couple of avid fishermen that were in our ward, and they knew exactly when the Bethany Lake, which is the Rocky Pond.
Oh, when it was going to be stocked. Yeah, I
And
remember
it's
the
right
story.
by our building, so
Right.
we just met there, and they love that every year, they just,
Cool.
and he tells us way ahead of time whatever week it is that they get
Okay.
stocked, and, he has it on his phone when it's gonna get stocked.
Having
so-
that insider information.
So, well,
Yeah.
it's public information, but anyone that has it on their phone all the time is an avid fisherman.
Yeah, and we had a group that went out in August to some random place and there was nothing.
And besides that, he provides all the equipment for everybody to fish.
cool.
with, too.
There you go.
Hornings Hideout has a fish pond,
Yeah, okay.
and I think it's like $3 to fish.
Is it $3 to fish?
$2 or $3 to
Okay.
fish. But they do a lot of stuff with Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts.
Okay.
From what I understand.
Okay.
I've only lived in the area for a year.
Okay.
But
We have a history with Hornings as a district. We used to have our camporee out there, and Anthony can tell you more about that. Don't worry. We had some issues with a lack of contract, and we're not using them anymore. But as a den, as a unit, great. And it's fairly close, and it's a nice place. Yeah, absolutely. How active do you want to be is a question you can ask yourself. Do you want to do something, we just talked about this, an activity every month? Do you want to alternate and have maybe a month off of activities and have something else? My pack does a pretty big thing every quarter, an overnighter, a camping, something like that. Maybe that's too much, maybe that's too little for your group. Keep in mind, this goes to Ann's point, Den should be actively doing their thing and going on their own outings. A lot of the new stuff requires an outing every once in a while. On average, once a month, maybe a little bit less. Have you been doing,
A hiker or something.
Yeah, so keep that in mind too.
And I had a question, on the new book, it says they have to be able to, in order to get that swimming one, they have to be able to swim 25 yards to get across.
Okay.
A lot of 8-year-olds do not know how to swim, and I can't teach them how to swim.
Yeah.
Before, they just had to, they could do enough other stuff that they could get it without actually being able to swim across the pool.
Okay.
And
Is that one of the required ones?
No, but
Swimming's not required.
it's not
That's
required,
right.
but it's one that, I've got to do it, but I just thought,
Yeah.
that seems pretty strict when you don't even have to memorize the scout oath.
Yeah, until you're
25
Error of life, I
yards, most 8-year-olds should be able to do.
Yeah, but if they can't, that means they.
I was a poor swimmer as a scout, I still am. So I
Every
feel
year I
that,
have,
absolutely.
maybe half the boys.
If they've had swimming lessons.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
academy.
Or if they're at-
Exactly, and so
for me-
before, you could take them and they could talk to the lifeguard, and you could do all these other things, and you could still get your swimming
Right.
stuff done. But now, that's one of the requirements, and I thought,
So-
that's pretty tough.
So for your den though, you're cycling through and doing 6 requireds, right? And then in theory, 4, 5, 6 electives.
Yeah,
throughout the year?
because I
So
get
from that
one.
perspective, if they skip one and don't earn that,
Yeah.
it's not a killer.
It's sort of hard though if 5 of the boys could swim across the
And
pool and
one
one can't,
doesn't?
and we all do the same outing,
Yeah.
and one doesn't get his award.
Well, and to speak to a similar thing, we were talking about that science one. My oldest is a bear, and it was we were working on one of the Nova Award things, and my den leader and my advancement guy said, "Okay, December, we don't have a pack meeting before Christmas, the week before Christmas, but we're going to offer a thing. We're going to do this thing. Anybody wants to come and do it? Great. It's an elective." And we had about half the den show up, and so half the den's going to get the loop. The other half, they had their opportunity.
But
Right.
this is
So-
gonna be a den activity.
Yeah.
And usually I have all the boys come and,
Yeah.
but I don't.
I mean, that's true, I think, across the board in all the new requirements. In the old system, you always had options. In the
Yeah.
new one, there are like
There are
no
a
options.
lot less
Anything.
options.
But should it
So-
also be on the boys' ability to be able to swim across the pool? Because we always try to adapt for, it's not the boy's fault that he can't swim at that age. It's usually the parents haven't taken him to swimming lessons.
That's an interesting question. And in terms of if there's a disability, that's a totally different thing. If there's actually a disability where they
Yeah.
physically can't, then that changes the formula entirely.
Well, they physically can't if they can't do it
But
at the pool.
is it just the fact that they haven't had the chance to learn how to swim?
They have
And
no
if-
access to a pool.
Right,
Right.
I don't know.
But,
I mean, if it were me and I was a den leader, I might think about choosing a different elective. You know?
Yeah.
And I will say one thing, that
I mean, I've warned parents that we're gonna do the swimming, and that's
Right.
something that they, if their son can't swim, then they can work on it.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, like, it's gonna break my heart if I have one little boy that can't swim and everybody else can swim across it.
yeah, I
And
hear
he
you.
doesn't get the award.
I think the swimming ones, there's one for bear and one for wolf, and I'm sure there's one for Webelos or Light. I think it's an elective, so either one. They have the most number of requirements of almost everything, and there's all safety stuff and like talk to like
No,
it's
no,
it's very in-depth.
actually easier now. but
Is it?
it's- Yeah, but
Okay.
so that's the problem, then we have a few things, but
but there's no
there's no like do A or B, it's like.
Yeah, I don't have it.
It's 25 feet or more, you know, at least chest high. Well, some of my boys probably can't do that.
Anthony has a comment in the back about this. Go ahead, Anthony.
So, the view of the scouting organization, the reason that that requirement exists, it is the view of the National Scouting Organization that every scout should know how to swim.
So,
Mm,
It is not a requirement that they complete it in any particular amount of time. If it takes them half an hour to go 25 yards, it takes them half an hour to go 25 yards.
and does it also say unaided, or can he be wearing a PFD or have a floaty or something like
That
that?
I'd have to look at the requirements.
It doesn't
That's
say he
good.
has
So-
to, doesn't say he has to do the breaststroke or
Right.
the side.
no, you know.
Can the other boys teach him how to get across the pool?
Well, I guess let's,
It says that if it's chest high, he's just saying that they can swim as far as they can, and they can stand up, and swim as far as they can, and stand up if they have
That's a
to.
great example. This is not the Boy Scout swim test where you have to swim
Right,
continually
just
Right,
and
it
not
doesn't
stop
say
at the
it's
break.
continually. I just thought there's gotta be a way around this, because everything else I can
That's
do
an excellent
that
point.
problem.
The rule in Cub Scouts for both the boys and the adults is do your best, so
Yeah.
he's gonna give his best effort.
Well, and that's why before it was easy, because you could always, like, you had to do, 4 or 5 of the 10 things available.
where and which requirement is this captured under?
It's under Spirit of the Water Requirement 6.
It's wolf. And for me, I find den leaders often put in requirements where they don't exist.
Yeah.
And I try really hard to encourage my den leaders to look at the exact language and say, what really needs to be done here? Not what do I put on top of this?
Yeah,
Or what am I shoving between the lines, right?
25 feet no more.
My Barrel den leader does that a lot, and she's getting really, yeah.
25 feet.
But he isn't very far.
We're kind of sidetracked here.
I'm just Rebecca, so coming up February.
Yeah.
6 yards.
It's a little ways. I think it can definitely be scary for a Wolf Scout for an 8-year-old, right? To jump in, chest high, and you go.
And deeper water, not all my boys are
It's about from where you are to the chair, right?
Yeah,
roughly.
So the short line.
It's the width of the pool, probably.
Yeah, depending on the pool, but yeah, I mean it's.
Depending on the pool, I mean,
I'll just have them stop and then start.
Yeah, especially chest high.
Good scouts will show him how to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
And
but-
I'll have a parent there. I
But
always
swimming
say
is one of
that.
those activities that you have to practice, you have to have confidence. And speaking as a person who's not a good swimmer, it
Let him have a
can.
warm-up session beforehand.
Yeah, and
Well, that's why we told
and that's why you
parents,
warn them.
last
Yeah.
month that we were-
But those are good things to think about before we get to annual planning, so we can discuss, what is it, do we want to do a packed pool thing, do you want to do a den thing, stuff like that.
And the Conestoga pool is a great pool to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's slides and everything else.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
shallow,
Fun
and
stuff.
I require a parent to come with every kid.
oh yeah.
So here's an example on the right of the timeanddate.org
Stay for the hour.
calendar. Just gives you all the holidays. I've got, I didn't print it, it's on the Google Drive. Download it, use it if you want, create your own. You can go on there and completely customize. But again, we talked about those regular things, blue and gold, recruitment nights, Pinewood Derby summer camps, district council events. Make sure those get on your calendar, especially so your families know, hey, Webelos Woods is this date, or Pinewood Derby is going to be in January. So, questions about calendars before we get to budget stuff? Great. Packed budgets are not as daunting as a lot of people think they are. And I've got some examples of packed budgets on the Google Drive for you guys to download and play with if you want to. Make sure you get fixed costs like advancement per scout. You can pretty much estimate, and we did this with our pack, we're estimating about $30 for a whole year for most of our scouts. And that's if they do all the stuff, get all the patches, do all the extra things. Variable costs, or other fixed costs not based on scouts. How much are we wanting to spend on a blue and gold? How much are we wanting to spend on our Pinewood Derby? Usually those are pretty static. Variable costs, what do we need to buy for den materials? Do we need new leader guides? Do we need to spend money on recruitment or other things like that? And talk about income opportunities. What are we doing for fundraising? What worked for fundraising? What didn't? We need a corporate sponsorship. Do you have Intel employees? Is that going to work out? Stuff like that. Every PAC's budget is different. Don't let anybody tell you that yours is wrong. Make it work for you. Scout accounts. People are freaking out about scout accounts still. Scout accounts are okay. They are okay. But be careful with those fundraising dollars. Go and listen to the Cubcast from December 2014. There's a lot of great information there. It's about 12 minutes long, especially if you're a treasurer or if you're a Cub Master and you want to understand what this really means. Go check that out. Leadership. Does your pack have a succession plan? Who's coming up next? Each den needs to have a leader. Do your dens have den chiefs? Do you want to have den chiefs? For Wolf, Bear, Weeblos, Arrow of Light. They can help you a lot. What does your committee look like? Do you have a treasurer? Do you have a secretary? Do you have somebody who's handling advancement, fundraising, that sort of stuff? Who's your charter org rep? This is the BSA national view of what your pack should look like. I showed you guys this last month. This is what I like to draw it as. It's a little nuts. But this is my ideal. This is my ideal pack, given all the resources and everyone, all the way down to, you know, volunteer coordinator to make sure that all works together. Yes, Mary in the back. I'm sorry?
Do they have a unit commissioner?
Oh, that would be over here somewhere.
You moved too fast.
I know. They have local council off there. I don't drop unit
Every
commissioner.
pack really needs a unit commissioner.
Absolutely. Tell us more, Susan. And we talked. We talked about the commissioner service in November and broke that down. So if you guys are curious, go back to our YouTube channel. What does the district commissioner service do? District committee, check that out. Required for recharter, these 5. Notice that your committee, your charter org rep can double up as a committee chair or committee member. Others have to be unique individuals. Know that. That's
So I'm confused on that.
Go ahead.
So we need a committee chair and 2 committee members.
Yep.
So 3 people on the committee,
Correct.
plus the charter organization rep,
Okay.
plus Cub Master, plus den leader.
Right.
Yep.
But
Charter org rep can be one of those committee members.
your charter org rep can be double registered as a committee member
Okay.
or a committee chair.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Really easy.
So 6.5.
1, 2,
5,
3,
5 and a half.
4, 5,
5.5?
Yes.
6.
You can get away with 5 adult humans registered and you can still have a valid pack.
Okay.
Getting below that is-
So we're still working on getting a valid pack.
Okay.
How can you meet without 2 in your den?
Another adult that's not registered. These have to be registered.
One has to be registered.
Yep. And that's make
It
sense?
can simply be a parent.
Yeah, exactly. Or older cousin or an uncle or whatever.
As long as that person is 18.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they have to use protection training though.
That would be ideal. In theory,
So we have
you
all-
actually only have to have 1 out of the 2 with YP.
But the other one has to be a parent of one of the children present.
I don't tell my
No.
parents.
No.
No?
I like that and actually I've had a lot of parents come up and do YP training voluntarily. Just, hey, here's my certificate. Cool. You want to apply? Adult app? No, I just, here.
We had
Great.
for
Cool.
weight camp.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we talked about that last a while back. Okay, the end result is, what are we doing? Where are we going? Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to lead it? You should be able to answer these questions at the end of your planning session.
Real practical though, is on Scout Book, we switched to Scout Book this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I have all my dens up until July, you know, all the den meetings planned, so
Right.
parents can know. You can put in a Scout Book, it actually emails them.
Yeah, we talked about
Time
this.
to tell them what's going
Yeah,
on.
which is
And,
great.
and then afterwards, I just, put in the attendance and put in what we really did, and then, you make changes as you go along, but
Yeah,
that keeps parents up to date with what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And makes it much easier.
Definitely.
So,
and we'll talk about some of the online resources, including Scoutbook. I think it's a little bit later in the spring, and I've got a lot of great, Scoutbook's one of them. It's a really great resource, and we'll talk about some of the other ones too. So, Scoutbook's a good thing. Okay, any questions about annual planning in general? Thoughts? Go ahead, Chris.
So one of the things that you brought up in a previous breakout session was
Okay.
the pack activities and such.
Yeah.
And I like getting all the den leaders together because as they're talking about, well, I've got to do a hike, and I've got to do a hike, and I've got to do a hike. Well, let's do a pack hike together.
Exactly, yes.
And that way we're killing lots of stones with one bird.
I definitely want to see my den leaders at annual planning. Absolutely. Some of them,
every month.
that's great.
That's the best.
That's really good.
The way that I see it is the monthly is kind of we've got a yearly plan, now let's look at the next
Yeah.
month's worth of.
Month and a half out, what's coming up.
Yeah.
It's what's coming up.
Yeah.
When we did the big one.
But this is, starting about 5 months from now to about 18 months from now, what's our big plan? And Chris is absolutely right. I want input from den leaders, I want input from my committee members, I want my cub master. I want parents to come in. All right, real quick, we're kind of running out of time, so I'm going to try to truncate this. Journey to Excellence. This is a performance recognition designed to encourage success and measure performance of individual units. It's really just a scorecard. The scorecard for 2016 is in the back. This was previously the Quality Unit Award. They revamped it, they renamed it, it's better. Fundamentally, it's a self-evaluation. It goes with recharter. So time has passed, but this is a good time to take this to your committee meeting, to your planning meeting and say, okay, here are our goals for this year.
When did those words come out?
You submit it with your recharter, and then usually we get them in the first few months of the year. You get the ribbon for your pack flag, you get the patch.
I just know how long.
Yeah. My advancement guy went down and harassed the scout shop mercilessly in January last year so we could hand them out at blue and gold. And then we didn't get the ribbon until like May. It was
Yeah,
awesome.
usually it's sometime after February when we get everything
It's,
in, so.
yeah. But you can, if you earned it, you can go down to the scout shop, and I think you actually order it or something now. It's really kind of different. But you can go down and say, hey, look, we earned it. We need 50 patches. Boom, done. And then the ribbon comes along. The ribbon for the pack and the dens, if your dens are earned. Oh wait, JT is not for dens. I'm thinking of the summertime award. But yeah, Susan's right. It's usually those first 3 or 4 months of the year. This is a way for you to determine what is working well in your unit and what could be improved. The scorecards differ slightly each year. They shuffle up a little bit. This year is very similar to last year. There are 11 goals, but just be aware that next year it might be different. And that's why I printed out a new version for this year for you guys. 12 goal items. They're all big keywords for scouting. The Webelos to scout transition, retention, advancement, trained leadership. You know all this stuff. Service, all these things. Again, first one is planning and budget. Do you have a planning meeting? Do you have a budget? There are 3 levels: bronze, silver, gold. In all honesty, a pack, just about any pack in their sleep can probably earn bronze. Fill out the form, hand it in with your recharter, and you're done. But again, when you hit that bronze level, you can look at what it requires to get to silver. What can I do to improve my pack? Great example for me, we didn't have an assistant cub master this year. I lost 200 points. I recruited an assistant cub master for this year. I want those 200 points back. And then at the end, you total up all your points and how many objectives you hit, and you have a result. That's it. That's all there is to it. If you missed 1 or 2 goals, like me, not all is lost. It's okay. There's lots of other things you can pick up points on. Do service projects. And that's my next one. Here's how it's easy to hit your gold status. Is look at these things. There's some common themes throughout here. Encouraging rank advancement, doing service projects and recording them in the online tool. Get those scouts to summer camp. There are percentages in there. Get your leaders trained. Of course, a lot of our leaders are trained now thanks to the council. Having those pack activities during the summer so you earn that summertime pack award. Summer Activity Award. Encouraging the Rebelo Scouts to go and interact with troops. It's like Susan was talking about with the, was he right, with the annual planning thing?
Yes.
That counts as a troop scout, Cub Scout thing, connecting with those local troops. They actually have goals too, troops do, to connect with packs. Do your best to recruit, to bring those new scouts in and have annual planning. Know that this trickles up, it's hierarchical, so units have one, Journey to Excellence, districts have one, councils have one. It all flows uphill. So districts really want us as units to succeed because then they succeed for the most part. It helps, right?
Well, and one of our metrics is the number of units that gets
Exactly.
their JTE.
So it all flows uphill. It's great. Why should you consider this something important? Why would you take this and say, oh, okay, let's do this? One, people who are in the know, former scouters or people with a lot of, maybe you have a family with 4 kids and they've been through the program, they come back because their youngest boy is finally ready for Cub Scouts. They might know. And maybe they're searching for a pack. And they might ask, hey, what did you do for JTE last year? This is more true for troops. When you have Cub Scouts come in, Webelos, checking troops out to recruit and say, hey, you know, what do you guys do? How often do you camping? What was your JTE score last year? Does that happen to you at all as a Scoutmaster occasionally? It's probably annoying, but you know, some people want to know.
Well, it's more important when they visit, the parents see the patch on the boys'
True.
uniform.
Hey, look, there's a thing. It means, it says quality and excellence on it. I used to say quality.
It means something.
It means something, and it's blank, and everybody gets to wear it. That's the point. Adults, primarily, especially in packs, earn this. There are some things in troops where the scout leadership starts to fold in, but with packs, it's all the adult leaders. And so we earn it, but everyone gets to wear it, and everyone gets to be proud of the fact that, hey, we're cool, we rocked this. We did something great. Ideally, especially in Cub Scouts, it's basically transparent. We do these things throughout the year. We're doing the right type of things. The National says, hey, you should be doing it this way. And then at the end of the day, the Scouts say, yeah, you get to wear a patch. That's exactly how it was when I was a Cub Scout. Cool new patch, okay, throw it in the uniform, Mom. It shouldn't be a chore. It should be the kind of thing that we go and we present to our scouters at a committee meeting and annual planning, and we review every once in a while and say, how are we doing? And you assign one person to spearhead each of those points, and they're in charge. You just check in as a committee chair, as a Cub Master, how are we doing with it? You know, how's our advancement coming? The other reason to do it is this ties into Scouter Awards. There are requirements to earn JTE for both Scouters Training and Scouters Key, Cub Master's Key in particular, for this group. So if your unit isn't doing JTE, you're doing people a disservice because then they can't earn an award. It does not factor into the Den Leaders Training Award, by the way. Some resources for you guys.
Mike?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can we still turn in JT 2015 paperwork?
You can go beg Brian Blatchley right now. Go quick and take them a
It
cookie.
needs to be in by like the second week in February.
Well, because I called him in 2014 and begged him, I forget the month, and he just said nope.
Yeah.
Because Lisa had no idea. And, you know, it
There's
just,
a cutoff where we have to certify the scores to now,
Right.
like February 14th.
ideally, it's with your recharter, and it goes to Brian. So, and check out the pack scorecards as well as the district, maybe the troops, council. You know, what is everybody doing? What's everybody's goal?